Okay, hello everybody. Scott Brooks here from Small Biz Consultants. We're going to go ahead and get started today with today's training and coaching system. And today's all about getting launched. Today's all about getting started. Without a proper launch sequence, nothing's going to lift off the pad, right? And so what we want to do is we want to go through a proven system that we've been using for a very long time. And literally, too many associates to count have used this exact system to launch their businesses and to get paid and to become profitable very, very quickly. And so we want to show this system to you, walk you through it, and make sure you understand exactly how it works. So what should have happened is you should have gotten an email, and that's probably why you're here. You just clicked on your email. And this email is the What's Your Game Plan email. I think it's sent out on day 4 or day 5 after you became a small biz consultant. And hopefully you've completed your online certification training. And if not, we want you to focus on that. We want you to get that done, but to know that this is your very next step. This is what you're going to pay attention to. And this is what you're going to focus on as soon as you finish your certification training class. So in this email, as you can see on my screen, you got those 2 documents. These were also emailed in a previous email. So just in case you haven't already downloaded them, we want you to download the New Consultant Training Checklist and the New Consultant Business Plan Start Guide. Now, these 2 documents, folks, are extremely important, and they are designed to help you to not only launch your business, but really, after all of this information you've been learning and you've been going through with your online course, these documents are designed to help you to get focused and to help you stay focused on the most important things that are necessary to launch your business properly and to launch your business to become profitable. And so when you open those documents up, what we're going to see is something very much like this. There is on the left of my screen, the new associate checklist. And then on the left of my screen is the new consultant business plan start guide. So what I encourage you to do is I encourage you to get those both downloaded onto your computer. And if you want, you can print them out like I have here. And what you've got is I've just stapled it together, my launch guide, and that way I can have it for easy reference. This is sort of like my, my Bible, my reference guide of how to succeed in getting this business off the ground. And then, of course, I've got my warm market memory list, which we'll talk more about in a moment here, and my checklist is over here as well. And so what you basically want to do is when you get into this, you're going to want to take a look at this checklist. And as you can see here, a lot of these things you've already done or probably already familiar with, and you're going to be able to move through this pretty quickly. So for example, item number 1 is to register as an associate and to record your associate number. Now, anytime you talk to corporate office, anytime you need to get a question answered, you're going to need to know what your associate number is. And so I want you to record that down. Something that I did a long time ago is I simply just made a contact in my mobile device, and everything to do with my Legal Shield associate number, my Legal Shield membership number, my login passwords, the phone number, anything I needed was easily able to be referenced there. But we do want you to write down your associate number and your login information so you know how to log in to your associates only back office. Next thing was to register for your certification training, which you probably wouldn't be at this part of your training if you hadn't done that and probably already completed it. So you can go ahead and check that off. If you haven't already done so, make sure you're subscribed to the coaching emails at smallbizconsultants.info so you continue to receive these coaching emails. Next thing to consider is, do you live in a state that requires a legal seller's license? There's, I think, 13 or 14 states in the U.S. and one territory, Providence, in Canada that requires a license. So to find out you're going to want to go to online.legalshield.com and then log in to your Associates Only back office. And when you've done that, click on the Tool tab and then click on the Licensing tab. And you'll be able to see all of the states that require a sales license, which basically means if you're going to sell a membership in any of those states, then you're going to need to obtain that license. And so what I've done over the course of my career is I didn't just go out and start getting a bunch of these licenses, even though I am licensed now in most of these states. As opportunities came up and as referrals led to other people and other places and even other states, I found it necessary to get licensed in many of these states. And so you want to make sure you've taken care of that. Number 5 says activate your Legal Shield and your ID Shield memberships. If you haven't done that, you have a valuable resource at your fingertips, your own membership. And it's incredibly important that you not only know how to set your accounts up, but you create your login information and you know how to use those memberships. And so if you go to mylegalshield.com, you can set up your legal plan membership. It'll tell you who your attorney is. It'll tell you how to call them. There's some will documents there, and there's even some information there on how to then download the mobile apps to your mobile device and be able to use the mobile apps so you can show it to others. And then also go to myidshield.com to set up your identity theft account and set up your monitoring the way you want. And then once you've set up those accounts, you can put the mobile apps on your device and use those. And then number 6, complete your small biz certification training. Hopefully you are either done or very close to being done. Then after that, we have ongoing weekly training podcasts. Now, what those podcasts are, what I call them, is our weekly staff meeting. There's no way we can get all of our associates to come into my office or to meet in a conference room every week like you might if you had a brick and mortar, training room or something like that. And so what we do is we put out a weekly podcast from the Small Biz Sales Support Team. So make sure you're subscribed, make sure you're listening and watching, because that's where you're going to get your updates. You're going to learn and continue to learn and grow in your career with small biz consultants. Then step number 8 is to go ahead and like us on our social media accounts. Step number 9 is to contact your recruiting sponsor or your team leader and schedule your game plan interview. Now, the game plan interview is supposed to be scheduled so that right after you finish your small biz online certification training, and hopefully in combination somewhere with having watched this video, you are right in line with having a conversation with your sponsor. And they're going to ask you things about your checklist. They're going to ask you things about your accounts. They're going to ask you things about the documents that I'm going to refer to in this part of the training. And so they're just going to follow up on you and make sure that everything is in order and that you know you can get help and support from them. And so make sure you've done that. Make sure you schedule your game plan follow-up interview with your team leader. Number 10 says, once you finish your training, or you can do it sooner if you prefer, order your business cards. This is something that's going to help you establish credibility right away with the clients and the prospects that you're going to be meeting with. So you can go to the smallbizprintcenter.com and you can order your business cards, you can order prospecting flyers and your activator sheets and even your sales sheets when you're sitting down with individuals and families. And there's a minimum order that we suggest for you to be able to have at least the minimum that you need to get started. Now, something we want to point out to you is the cost that you get is our cost. We do not mark up anything on this website. We pass the corporate savings on to you. And so, you can get a box of cards for $14. You can get a stack of flyers for as low as $14 as well. And so order some supplies. It's going to take about a week to get them and then kind of go from there. And then the rest of this really now is going to refer to launching your business, getting it up, getting it running, driving it forward like you would have to any business. And so the next thing is to download the new Consultant Business Start Guide. We're going to refer back to that in a moment. It's going to then suggest that you use the memory jogger worksheets to create a personal prospect warm market list, and then use the same tool to create a small business warm market prospect list. And then once you've created those lists, then you can learn how to set appointments. And then once you've made the appointments, you can go out and start doing presentations. And as you then start your career doing presentations and educating people about who we are and the valuable services that we offer, you're going to start getting paid and you're going to start getting promoted. Now, it is our desire to see you do that as quickly as possible. I'm sure you didn't start a business to fail. I'm sure you didn't start a business so you can drag your feet. I've got a philosophy that's always worked well for me. And if I've got a business venture or an opportunity like the one we all have, why would you want to dabble with it? Why would you want to play around with it? When in reality, what you have in your hands is a multi-million-dollar business. Myself and many others have made well over $1 million in this business, and you can too, if you take your training and your learning seriously. So I'm going to encourage you to get back to your worksheet and to finish your checklist as you continue over the course of the next week or so. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the business launch start document, and I'm going to go ahead and get that opened up here. Okay, so I've opened up the Small Biz Consultants Business Start Guide. And this start guide, I think it's about 14 or 15, maybe 16 pages long. It's not long. It's not complicated. You know, some people go to college for 4 years and 6 years, and they don't earn a six-figure income. That was pretty much the story of my life. But a business like this that can be condensed to the most important things you must execute properly in order to launch your business and start earning that income, start getting the promotions so you can maximize the comp plan. I want you to pay attention to the document you have in your hands. It is probably one of the most important steps of any person's brand new business. And so we're going to go ahead and open this up. I'm going to get into some of the pages here. So let's go ahead and go down here and start this. And get into the information. I'm sure you've probably already read some of this, but some of the most exciting things that I like to share with people is that, you know, if you're like me, you're going to be pleased to learn that Legal Shield has paid out over $1 billion in commissions in the last decade to consultants just like you and I. There's over 250 millionaire club members who are using the exact same training, the exact same tools, and the information that you now have in your hands. And so when I heard that and when I learned that 6 years ago, my conclusion is that if this business properly executed could earn someone else $1 million, then if I properly execute and follow the instructions, that I could expect a similar result, right? And so can you. And so I want to encourage you to cherish this start guide as a tool to help you get focused and to stay focused on the most important steps of launching your business. So here we go. We tell everyone that gets started, you know, every small business needs a proven launch plan if it expects to succeed. And at Small Biz Consultants, we believe there are only a few selling strategies that need to be considered and properly executed for a new small biz consultant just like you to launch their business and to sustain success. And so we teach in this document, in this launch guide, there are 3 selling strategies you are going to want to learn in order to succeed. There's others you can implement. There's other things you probably may already know to contribute to your arsenal of tools. But these 3 things are paramount. Number 1, we launch every new associate with warm market prospecting. And we're going to get into that momentarily. Number 2, we will then move on to talking and discussing cold calling and prospecting strategies. And then number 3, we're going to talk about networking and building business relationships in your community so that you become known over the next couple of years as the person to go to for small biz help, for small biz support, to help small business owners and to be there as a support mechanism to the small biz community, whether that's networking through the Chamber of Commerce, or you find some other business networking events or BNI or whatever business social networking type breakfasts and lunches and mixers and socials that you can get yourself involved in. It's not going to be a bad idea to get intertwined in the community. But let's reverse all of that and let's start with selling strategy number 1, warm market prospecting. Now, the fastest and the easiest way to launch your new business is simply to reach out to your warm market. And it should be one of the very first steps for every brand new small biz consultant. Now, the warm market that we're talking about refers to people that you already know, people that you already have a relationship with and credibility with. Maybe it's clients from another business or neighbors who own or work for a business or even friends or families. And so the value of using your warm market to launch your business is that these are people you already know. They're not obligated to buy from you, but they're at least probably going to let you get your foot in the door to have a conversation with them about our personal product lines and about our small biz protection plans. It doesn't require a big sales pitch, and it doesn't even always require a formal presentation. Typically, you'll be able to schedule an appointment with these individuals in your warm market and sit down and talk with these people in a casual situation. And then the process is that you're going to move through what I'm going to show you right now. And what we want you to do is focus on this. We want you to launch your business to achieve maximum impact and acceleration at the same time. And so in order to do that, our proven strategy is we want you to create 2 warm market lists. Now, one warm market list is going to be individuals, families, relatives, acquaintances, people you know from church, your neighbors, whoever. Doesn't really matter as long as you know them and as long as they know you, and they might do you a favor and let you practice your presentation and show them what you're doing so you can pique their interest. The second warm market list that we're going to ask you to create is your warm market list of small business owners. Who do you know that has a business? Who do you know that makes business decisions for a business or for a small business? Now, when we say small business, we're talking any decision maker that's involved at a company with less than 100 employees, because that would be a good candidate for our small biz plans that we offer, right? And so let's start with list number 1. List number 1 is a great way to talk to your warm market, personal friends, family members, close acquaintances, and let them know about your new career as a small biz consultant. This is going to be the foundation to set your initial appointments onto your calendar in the next 1 to 3 weeks. I even had a guy recently that put hundreds of people on his warm market prospecting list, and his entire first 6 weeks was dedicated towards setting appointments and going back and meeting with people on his warm market list. If your list is smaller than that, you're going to want to at least spend your first week to 10 days working through that list. And so you're going to start with the contacts maybe that are in your mobile device and the people that are in your phone, right? And so all of us have one of these. All of us have a mobile device where we can get this opened up and just start going through it and write down all the names and the phone numbers, the emails of all the people that you know that know you. Really, not, you don't want to call strangers. You don't want to try to get an appointment with a stranger. That would defeat the purpose of a warm market. And then what we're going to ask you to do, as you can see here on your start document, is that, of course, the purpose of contacting these individuals is to educate them on your new career and to tell them what you're doing. You don't need to sell them. You don't ever try to sell anybody something that, they're not interested in. I wouldn't enjoy that. You don't enjoy that. And the fact is, they may not be interested, but they may refer you to somebody who is. So it's important to be thorough in this process. And then after you've gotten out of your contacts, maybe out of your mobile device, you might be able to find other warm market lists, for example, from a wedding invitation list that you kept, or a Christmas card mailing list that you keep around, or a birthday party or anniversary list that you recently created. And then don't forget to include all of your social media accounts too. They may not be in your phone, but they certainly are a warm market contact that you could use to help you launch your business and to experience a favorable grand opening. So all we're going to ask you to do is click on these links to download and print the Warm Market Memory Jogger worksheet. So I'm going to click on this first one, and we're going to open this up. And all this is designed to do, folks, is to help you to think through. Who do you know that is an accountant? Who do you know that might be an actor or in advertising or is in aerobics? Maybe they like aerobics. Maybe they're an aerobic instructor. Who do you know that's in the military or an airline pilot or someone that works at the airlines? Who do you know that installs alarm systems? And so you go through this exhaustive list of all these different types of careers and occupations and even who do you know in these states? Who do you know in all the different states where you live and the different, providences and territories? And so you just start putting people's information on your list. Now, let's go back to the document, because you're going to need this other document here that goes along with it. So download several of these. I've got 4 or 5 of these printed out here in my office. And so as you can see, I've got my memory jogger. And then I've also got these contact sheets. I've got 4 of them here. And so there's 20 per page. Now listen, this is very important. I want to encourage you to be exhaustive in this exercise. I'm going to encourage you to have no less than 2 full sheets for your warm market personal list. You can have many more than that. I've known people that have had up to 10 of these, 200 warm market contact lists. And I would encourage you to have no less than 2 warm market business owners lists. Now, if you can't come up with that many business owners, that may be understandable, but surely you can come up with at least, if you don't know 40 people, right? If you don't know 40 people that you could tell about your new business, we need to get you out more. But the reality is we don't want you to sell yourself or this process short. And so as you can see on the screen here, you're just going to jog their name and how do you know them and their contact information down. And I really want to encourage you to use these tools to create your lists. Now, you might be able to do that in an hour. It might take you several hours to do that. But it is extremely important that you do it. And I'm going to tell you why. Because, again, you're not trying to take advantage of someone. What you're wanting to do is to offer your services because I hope by now you believe that our services help people and that they are a benefit and a value to people. And so people need these legal plans. They need to get their wills completed. Business owners need access to these services. People need the best identity theft protection. And so we're not selling them something gimmicky or anything like that. But here's really the thing I want you to focus on. Both your warm market lists should be as thorough as you can possibly make them. And I want you to look at this as your business grand opening. If you're having a grand opening for your business, you typically only have a grand opening for a business once. So you don't stop short and only invite a few people that you know. If I was opening up a brand new restaurant this weekend, I would want to invite who? I would want to invite everyone that I know. I don't look at the list and say, well, I'm not going to invite Joe because I don't think Joe likes French fries, and I'm not going to invite Susie because Susie doesn't like seafood, and we've got French fries and seafood on our menu. It's not my responsibility to determine what kind of food Joe and Susie may or may not like. any more than it's your responsibility to try to determine who in your circle of influence might need our services, who might need to get their will done, who might need to protect their business or need identity theft protection. Don't try to prejudge anyone. Just make your list as thorough as possible, both the personal side and on the small business owner's side. And then the next step is going to be to start making appointments and start making presentations to other individuals. So I hope you will get serious about following this part of your training. And in our very next training and coaching video, we're going to talk about setting appointments and doing presentations. Until then, to your success, I look forward to talking with you again soon. Bye-bye.